the goal of relieving stress.
Students weigh in on data safety after Facebook papers were leaked.
Habad of Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo offers students from all backgrounds free chicken soup and delivers it to their door through their Chicken Soup Express program.
An exhibit downtown hopes to expose the other side of social media.
And finally, more on Cal Poly's marching band and how they are back for various in-person events.
Broadcasting from Swanson Studios, you're watching Mustang News.
Hello and welcome to Mustang News TV. This is your #1 place for local and campus news stories. My name is Gabe Arditi.
And I'm Anthony Ramos. Thanks for tuning in with us for our Best of show. Now let's get to today's top story. Therapy dogs are back on Dexter Lawn at Cal Poly. Reporter Ava Kirshner has a story on their positive impact on students.
Having a rough day?
Yes, that's right.
The Alliance of Therapy Dogs may change that. In partnership with Cal Poly's Campus Health and Wellbeing, the Alliance of Therapy Dogs meet on Dexter Lawn once a month for Therapy Dog Thursdays. These therapy dogs aim to relieve stress and increase overall emotional well-being.
Honestly, I get really bad anxiety when I have tests, so today I have a quiz, so this is actually really nice just to kind of calm myself down.
And that stress relief is needed, especially for college students living away from their pets for the first time.
They don't really realize how much comfort and companionship and how much their own pets help their mental health when they're home until they're away from them.
The Alliance of Therapy Dogs is a nationwide organization with around 50 dogs and their handlers on the Central Coast that go through training and testing in order to get hired for the job.
Well, when they're young, there's a lot of socialization that needs to happen and make sure they're good with other dogs and different situations and people.
If once a month isn't enough, you can head to the website therapydogs.com and request a visit from dog handlers in your area.
If I was somewhere where I couldn't have my own dog, having somebody else's dog visit me would be the next best thing. So I figured that's what we do.
For Mustang News, I'm Ava Kirshner.
If you are interested in becoming a therapy dog handler, you can learn about testing and dog handling by visiting the website therapydogs.com.
Now let's take a look at how 2 Cal Poly students have changed their community's food waste habits. 2 agriculture students, Georgia Brace and Maddie Rada, realized that throwing away food scraps just wasn't right. After noticing a UCSB composting club and participating in Cal Poly's garden club, they found that they could work with the Student Experimental Farms compost program to create a weekly service that provides compost buckets and pick up and drop off every Sunday. Their program was created back in winter of last year in the midst of COVID, serving as a trial run. Georgia and Maddie gave us a look at how their program works.
This is my partner Maddie. Every Sunday we pick up buckets from 10 different houses, bring it to the Student Experimental Farm, dump them out into the compost, give them a little washy wash, and then we go drop them back off. And basically it's just a compost collecting service.
A subscription for the compost service is $10 for the bucket and $5 per quarter. They currently have 15 houses and are adding more drivers soon.
Photographer Asia Croston-Kalagi's Girls Who Handle It exhibit in downtown San Luis Obispo hopes to raise awareness for the issues that young women face. Reporter Leave Collum visited the exhibit and learned about what inspired Kalagi to create this project.
Asia Croston-Kalagi owns a photography business in downtown San Luis Obispo, but her nonprofit organization Girls Who Handle It aims to show what can't be captured by the camera. Girls Who Handle It encourages its subjects, young women in San Luis Obispo, to share stories of the struggles that they may not share on social media.
We like to say that Instagram is a window into someone's life, but then you read these stories and you realize that it's actually like the teeny tiny crack in the back door.
The organization aims to challenge the standard of perfection online, displaying the photos and stories at the annual Girls Who Handle It exhibition. The exhibit juxtaposes a black and white image of a girl and her story with her corresponding Instagram feed, illustrating the differences between social media and real life. In her photos, Croston-Kalagi aims to convey both the similarities and differences between the women she interviews.
We really wanted it to be something that felt really uniting, whereas every girl just has her hair up in a top bun, so everybody looks really similar, but at the same time you can really see the differences between all the women.
The latest installment of the Girls Who Handle It exhibition took place Friday at Couchdog's studio downtown, with SAFER, Cal Poly's sexual violence prevention resource, tabling at the event. Visitors of the exhibition took the opportunity to look beyond the constraints of social media.
It's just really supportive to have that community and be able to have these conversations together, and just a really overall warm and uplifting space is really crucial to have.
Leave column, Mustang News.
More information on the Girls Who Handle It project can be found at girlswhohandleit.com. After the break, we'll take a look at BandFest. More Mustang news after this.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be earthquake next Thursday.
Seriously?
Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
After more than a year without performing, Cal Poly's marching band is back. Reporter Sophie Lincoln has more on the band's return to live performances and how they plan to do so safely.
Cal Poly's campus is once again alive with the sound of the Mustang band practicing for their upcoming events. On October 30th, the band performed its biggest event of this quarter, the BandFest Returns concert.
BandFest is something we do every year. It's to try and get all of the bands on campus to perform in one area, in one venue. Just kind of showcase our abilities, what we've been doing all quarter, because we've been working really hard.
Unlike most of the Mustang band's other performances, BandFest is an indoor venue, making it a bit more complicated in terms of adhering to county health guidelines.
For the masks that we use, they have our little Mustang band logo. And we have two of them, one without the hole and one with the hole. I'm showing the one with the hole. And this is how we play our instruments. We put our mouthpiece through this little hole here, and we're able to play pretty much perfectly fine. And we're also staying super COVID safe, which is great.
Cal Poly Band's next big performance will take place Saturday, February 26, 2022 at the Performing Arts Center. The concert, titled After Image, is in anticipation of the band's tour to the College Band Directors National Association Conference in March, and will feature classics as well as new voices in writing for the band. Tickets are $10 to $20 and can be purchased online at the Performing Arts Center website. For Mustang News TV, I'm Sophie Lincoln.
The Mustang Band is also scheduled to perform at various sporting events and other venues throughout winter quarter. A full calendar of events can be found online at mband.calpoly.edu.
As winter approaches, so does flu season. Alexa Kushner has more on what Cal Poly students can do to feel more at home when they're under the weather.
On Frederick Street in San Luis Obispo, you can spot a house with a menorah in the driveway. That house is San Luis Obispo's Chabad, which is a center for Jewish learning, culture, and lifestyle. Rabbi Chaim Hillel and his wife Mickey Hillel established Chabad of San Luis Obispo, and for the past 13 years have been offering free chicken soup to sick Cal Poly students, regardless of their religious and ethnic backgrounds. Mickey Hillel says it all began through word of mouth.
So Chicken Soup Express started when we got some calls from moms that their kids were sick, and we offered to send them a bowl of soup, and it just was on the Cal Poly parents page, someone said, my son is soup, or my son is sick, or my daughter's sick, what can we do? And then just naturally someone said, oh, I heard Chabad delivers chicken soup, and then we've been doing it, ever since.
The soup the Hillel family makes is 100% kosher and made from scratch in their very own kitchen. Mickey says they even get some ingredients from outside the Central Coast.
Chicken soup, though, is not only the chicken, it's actually chicken bones. So we get packages, we go to LA, and they have chicken bones already in packages, and the bones are what give it like amazing flavor.
During the colder seasons, the Hillels can expect to make around 10 deliveries of chicken soup per day, which are all personally given to students by the rabbi himself. Because of this high demand, some students help out in the kitchen. Third-year environmental management and protection major Sydney Bregman is on the board for Chabad at Cal Poly and comes in on Fridays to help cook Shabbat dinner and cut the vegetables for the chicken soup.
I wanted to get more involved, and I thought that this was a good way to help out.
The Hillel family provides many other volunteer and religious services at the Chabad for Jewish people of all backgrounds and levels of commitment. For Mustang News, I'm Alexa Kushner.
If you would like to order soup for yourself or a friend, you can visit their website at chabadslow.com and fill out their form.
After the break, we'll get an update on Mustang sports. Stay right where you are.
Here she comes. Hi, Krista. Take you, Jamie, to be my wife.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
Welcome back to MNTV's Best of show, where we take a look at the top stories from the fall quarter. This season was a big one for Cal Poly sports, both for our divisional team and for intramural. To find out more, here's sports reporter Angeli Key Harris with a recap.
Thanks, Anthony. This season was a big one for the Cal Poly Mustangs, as many sports were back for the first time in over a year. Our men's soccer team finished third in the Big West, and our women's team finished second. But this season was not only a comeback for our divisional sports, but also our intramural sports. For the first time this quarter, a new sport was brought to ASI's intramural lineup, kickball. 3 nights of a week 44 teams of students take to the lower sports complex to face off in this timeless sport. Mustang News reporter Brady Caskey has more on why ASI brought this sport to Cal Poly.
After an almost 2-year hiatus, ASI's intramural sports are back, and they're kicking it off with a classic.
Go second. Oh.
Yes! Nice aim, buddy! So we're playing intramural kickball, which is super exciting. I'm kind of just hanging out with all my friends and we're playing a sport together, which in your last year, you kind of want to make the most of it. And we haven't had this for the last year, so we were really excited that they brought him back and everything. And so I think that it's like one of those sports that everyone knows, you know? You played it on the playground when you were like 6 and you have those positive memories associated with it. So we're always looking forward to Thursday nights, coming out here, and it's always a good time, you know? We're just like making the most of it.
Due to COVID-19 restrictions, ASI was unable to offer their normal spread of indoor intramural sports for the fall quarter, which pushed them to find an alternative.
When we were kind of faced with not being able to have the sports that we normally would have in the fall, we kind of went to the drawing board, and kickball just really seemed like a fun way to, you know, get people out there. We just really wanted to make sure that everyone could be included in our program while we were limited. It's been really received well by people. Like, as you can tell, they're just screaming and having a fun time. It's something where you can bond with friends that you might not be able to get the opportunity to elsewhere. You know, if you're different majors or maybe you're just in a club, like, we love seeing those groups come out here because people just are, you know, back to their childhood.
According to ASI, intramural kickball is slated to make a return come spring quarter. Reporting for Mustang News, I'm Brady Caskey.
If you want to try your hand at intramural kickball, ASI is planning to host a weekend tournament for the winter quarter. You can find more info at asi.calpoly.edu under the Get Active tab. That's all the time we have for sports. Back to you, Gabe and Anthony.
Safety is a huge priority to all college campuses along the United States. Reporter Erica Rojas gives us the story on how safe Cal Poly students feel walking around campus at night.
During the month of October, there were 2 rape allegations on Cal Poly San Luis Obispo's campus. The recent time change causes the sun to set around 5 p.m., leaving students no choice but to walk around campus at night. These recent events have put into question whether or not Cal Poly is doing the most they can do to make their students feel safe during this time.
The police here find more issues with tickets and prefer to use their time to do parking tickets and people breaking rules on campus rather than actually providing safety for people.
Students have complained multiple times about feeling unsafe around the Cal Poly area due to lack of light in San Luis Obispo and the lack of advertisement of safety on campus.
I feel like it's kind of weird because I'm a senior in college and I still don't really know my campus resources for this kind of stuff and if I'm feeling unsafe. So I wish that campus just did more to tell us and at least let us know what we have and where. And also, I used to be in a sorority and we had self-defense classes. So maybe if the rec center offered self-defense classes, that could be a cool way to help out with this issue.
Many sororities on campus offer self-defense classes to help their members feel safe being a woman on campus. It is also common for women to keep pepper spray or another form of self-defense handy when they have to walk home alone at night.
I feel as though I'm pretty safe on campus, but I would say that when I'm walking around SLO as a whole, I don't feel very safe, especially when it's dark. So I find myself holding on to my full hydro flask or usually walking to tennis at night and holding on to my rack and feeling like I have 2 items of self-defense just in case anything pops out at me. And I feel like in recent events, I felt a little bit more unsafe walking around.
Recently, Cal Poly has come out with a Mustang shuttle to replace the previous escort van service. The shuttle gives students and employees a ride across campus in the evening. Cal Poly is slowly trying to introduce new ways to make all members of their community feel safe during this time. For Mustang News, this is Erica Rojas.
For more information on campus safety and what safety precautions are available for Cal Poly students, visit afd.calpoly.edu.
Facebook has come under fire after a whistleblower revealed details about the company's safety policies and its use of customer data. Reporter Torstein Wren has the story on how Cal Poly students feel about the recent revelations.
Facebook, along with its Instagram and WhatsApp counterparts, went offline last Monday for almost 6 hours, just a day after a whistleblower came forward with allegations of wrongdoing by the company. While the whistleblower's claims covered topics from sewing division to Facebook's actions in other nations, one question stands out. Can the company that operates such a large portion of the internet infrastructure be trusted with your data? For Cal Poly students, the question remains concerning.
And obviously I would not want that to happen, for my information to be sold. And rumors, all rumors come from some sort of truth, so it definitely can make me a little worrisome sometimes.
For students like Aiden Prokop, data security on Instagram has raised concerns, but other students, including Preston Durbin, aren't worried about what Facebook sells.
It doesn't really impact me that much other than what I see, and maybe there's some cool things that I could see out of it. Yeah, I guess I really don't have much of a preference when it comes to that.
Often, the question of trusting Facebook is secondary because many organizations have to rely on the website to communicate. One such Cal Poly specific organization is the Housing, Sublets, and Roommates Group, which has amassed over 21,000 members. This is the central meeting place for those seeking housing off campus, and without Facebook, few alternatives exist.
For Mustang News,
tell if the growing concerns over data safety will have an impact on how people connect online. Now we'll move from a national story to a local one about a guy right in our backyards. Earlier this year, on September 14th, California had a gubernatorial recall election to determine if the state would recall Governor Gavin Newsom. The recall did not unseat Newsom. However, one of the candidates who ran for office is a local Cal Poly student.
Third-year transfer student John Drake is a new face on campus, but is a known name in the community. Drake is the Cal Poly student who ran for governor in California's recent recall election, and here's why.
I got my AA in political science. I'm still doing political science. That was the bulk of the classes I took because I've always liked political science. I've always liked learning about politics. I've been into politics since I was like 11 years old. Politics was huge in my family growing up, so I just kind of got like an early start to it.
For some people, running for public office is daunting and difficult, but Drake is not one of those people.
You know, it was actually a lot less stressful than everyone makes it out to be. I would say the biggest thing and the hardest thing for me to do was probably the paperwork, because it was just a huge amount, and if I filled out a paper wrong, I could accidentally say, oh yeah, I got $5,000 when I didn't, and I almost made that mistake. So that was about it. It was the whole process was very rewarding.
Even with all of the effort he put in, Drake still impressed himself with how strong he was able to finish at the polls.
I was kind of shocked that I ended up doing so. Like, I'm in the top 15. I obviously didn't beat Caitlyn Jenner, but the thing is that considering she put like, I think it was like $100 million into her campaign, and I put like 50 cents into mine, it's like, whoa.
Drake says he is currently planning on throwing his hat back into the ring for 2022. It's safe to say this is not the last you've heard of John Drake. Now stay with us, because after the break, we have an in-depth look of popular local restaurant Giuseppe's.
Maria, so how's work?
It was fourth period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bella and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year, I might get to go. Cool.
Swirling chairs have made its way to block students' way to class on purpose. Reporter Jenny Lee has the story.
On these usually quiet steps of the Crockett Education Building, swirl students on rolling chairs during a passing period. The purpose is to block students' path as part of a social experiment, and leading it is fifth-year architecture student Sydney Bolish.
My thesis project is a little bit about urban environments and dense cities. So I'm looking at how people interact with their built environment and how the built environment affects the way people act, especially in the way that people walk through their city to their jobs or school or just like everyday life. So this social experiment was to see how us adding in like some distraction or obstruction into their normal routine would affect the way that they walk to their final destination.
Bolish plans to conduct the experiment once more and encourages students to stop and join if they find them. For Mustang News, I'm Jenny Lee.
Now that's a social experiment I would like to be a part of.
How a Cal Poly project based on family ties and good food became a local success story. Reporter Angeliki Harris has the inside scoop.
In 1988, Cal Poly tailback and political science major Joe DeFranzo did his senior project on the feasibility of an authentic Southern Italian restaurant in Pismo Beach. After being inspired to create a restaurant with a menu centered around his family's old recipes, Giuseppe's Cucina Italiana was born.
I came from Southern California, and I didn't want to go back there. Los Angeles, LA. And I loved it here. I fell in love with it. It reminded me of Italy, where my parents were from. Very similar, except, you know, on the Pacific Coast. I had just grown to be very fond of the area, wanted to stay here, and wanted to start my own little business.
DeFranzo prides himself in curating the menu to what is in season for not only better flavors, but better sustainability practices. He does his best to use what he grows on his 13-acre farm and what he can catch on his commercial fishing boat. This includes persimmons, figs, rapini, broccoli rabe, plus 2 acres of tomatoes which are canned and line the walls of the restaurant.
It's very Italian. If you go to Italy, all the restaurants are seasonal. They don't import shrimp during the winter when it's not from their ocean. They don't bring in tomatoes during the winter that come from a foreign country. everything's seasonal. It's just the whole country.
After 33 years of business and surviving the fire of 2016, DeFranzo has expanded into 2 locations and has started his own brand of wine. For Mustang News, I'm Angelica Harris. Ciao!
To find out more about the local restaurant, visit their Pismo location at 891 Price Street or their downtown San Luis Obispo location at 849 Monterey Street. Right after the break, we'll be back with more Mustang News TV. Make sure to stay with us.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. First, I took them to feel better. Then, I just kept taking them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Mrs. and Mrs. Jimmy at the debut.
I came from 5 generations of teachers. Losing my job was the bottom falling out of my world.
Local slow band Couchdog released their first ever EP. Reporter Amanda Wernick has the story.
Local San Luis Obispo garage surf rock band Couchdog is back and better than ever with a new EP, available on all streaming platforms November 5th. The 3-song project, titled Bad and Better Than Ever, celebrates the band's re-emergence after over a year of COVID-19 restrictions. Couchdog guitarist Pablo Acosta says this self-produced EP will be one listeners can both dance and cry to.
The tempos are really fast, the bass lines are really snappy, the vocals are really sad, and just like it's just a way to vent.
Couchdog bassist Tasha Lee says the songs are deceptively happy.
It's up-tempo, like, they sound super happy, but when you look closer at the lyrics, it's all like, it's about like love and loss and all that kind of stuff. So I think that plays into like bad and better than ever too. Yeah.
Lee is also pictured on the EP album cover. This is fitting, according to Couchdog vocalist Max Ferrer, who says Lee is the heart of the band.
Like, if I play the song without Tasha, it sounds incomplete because there's like a note or some sort of like a step up that she'll do like during a transition between chords that just absolutely changes the feel. And yeah, that she's very, very much essential.
You can pre-save Bad and Better Than Ever on Spotify and Apple Music. For Mustang News, I'm Amanda Wernick.
Rock on. Couchdog will perform live at the Slow Guild Hall alongside other local bands, the Bogies and Kiwi Cannibal. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. Thanks again for tuning in with us today. For Mustang News TV, my name is Gabe Arditi.
And I'm Anthony Ramos. Remember, stay classy, San Luis Obispo.